So, a challenge to you narc parents, aka you estranged parents, as you call yourselves now, from a lowly little truth teller slash scapegoat like myself. Now, very briefly, I've noticed that you people have all these little estranged parents channels are popping up left and right, and they're proliferating all over YouTube and all over TikTok and all these various places. But what I notice about you and your abilities within that is that you're not very good. And you always get ratioed in the comments because of one thing. You're never specific about why the kid left you. You never give any specifics as to why the child chose to no longer engage with you. Isn't that funny? Isn't it funny that there's like hundreds of you popping up every day, it seems like, and all of you do the same thing where you don't say what you were accused of doing? Because what you do say is that the child elected to no longer speak to you. They left you. You didn't leave them, right? What you will say, I noticed, is that, oh, we hung up on each other and then I just never heard from her again, or we had an argument and I never heard from him again. But never any specifics as to the nature of the argument, never any specifics as to the reason why the kid hung up on you. No specifics. So that's my challenge. We want you to say with a top degree of specificity, okay, what the kid accused you, probably credibly, of doing. We want to know, because if you want to be taken serious in this space and you want to mimic what we do, right? Because you couldn't leave well enough alone. You couldn't allow us to have a platform and speak our truth, because you've never allowed us to do that. You've never allowed us to get our side out. That's why you triangulated our families against us and our brothers and sisters and talked about us like a dog to anybody you've ever met, so as to make sure that you always have a ready army on your side, and, a ready store plus of sympathy on your side, right? So you couldn't just allow us to have a platform for ourselves and a way for us to talk to one another and fellowship with one another, and bounce ideas for how to heal our trauma that you caused. You couldn't allow that. You had to enter our space. You had to mimic us, because really you're truly unoriginal people. And by my estimation, you're some of the most unintelligent people. But prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I'd love to see an example of one of you estranged parents, and your little groups where you all sit around and lick each other's wounds. I'd love to see at least one example where you get specific. One example where you get specific as to what the child said about you, and why the child, I should say, chose to go no contact. I just want to see one. I've yet to see one. I've seen so many, okay, of your channels where you will talk about multiple kids, not one kid, not two kids, but three kids. One lady's channel, because I look at your channels, because I unlike you, like to see the other side of things. Not that your side really holds any water, but I at least give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm continually disappointed, but I continue to give you the benefit of the doubt. But I would see people like one lady have 4 kids, and 3 out of the 4 don't speak to her. And she's on there playing the sad music, and she's got the lighting, and she's got the Target tchotchkes in the background, the live, laugh, love bullshit, and all the, all the religious iconography, the religious iconography with the religious laws that you people will never seem to follow. But she's got 3 out of the 4 that went no contact. And if you go through her whole channel, and I'm not going to say her channel's name, because why should I give you shine? Why should I give you clicks? I'm sure people will stumble upon it if they're interested in hearing a pity party about nothing, right? But within those 3 stories, because she milks it and she breaks it down kid by kid, right? There's no specific stories. It's just, I was a good mom, and I thought I did a good job. And there's no manual on how to be a parent. Yeah, well, here's the problem with that. Just as a side note, there literally is. There's literally books on parenting and how to make your child feel seen and heard and cared about. We've had books like that since forever. In the 1800s, they had books on how to raise children. In the early 1900s, they had books on how to raise children. They've got books on how to raise children now. We've also got something called the internet where you could type in, how do I make my child feel seen? So that doesn't hold water. So in addition to the lack of specifics on your shit, you also have a lot of lies you tell that show how lazy you are. You're very lazy. But to get back to the lady, 3 out of the 4 kids are not speaking to her. And everything is vague. Just again, no manual. I wasn't perfect, but I was there. And oh, my parents were way worse, which only leads me to believe that you know that abuse is wrong, but you did it anyway. But getting back to my original point, I challenge you. I challenge any of you, either on your own channel or come to my channel and leave, a little passive-aggressive comment if you must. Tell me specifically why the kid chose not to stay in contact with you. Okay? If you do that, I'll eat my hat. If you actually give a reason, okay, a real reason, and acknowledge what you did in that, okay, and actually break down what the kid said and show that you were actually listening and that you made some sort of attempt, I will eat my hat on camera. I will eat my hat on camera. Okay? And as a bald guy, I need my hat. So that lets you know how confident I am in the fact that you can't do this. This is the challenge. The gauntlet has been thrown down. It's going to be incumbent upon you to rise to that challenge. Because again, if you're going to be in our space, if you're going to be in our world, if you're going to be in our club where we come on and we talk about this issue, you're going to have to abide by our rules because we were fucking here first.